Hello everybody, this is Chris here again, and today I'm going to be showing you how to take an old pair of underwear that you have and cut it up and make a pattern for it and make a new pair. So what you're going to need is, you're going to need some underwear that you have that are old and they got holes in it and stuff, and then you're going to need this elastic. It's about the same width as, it's a little smaller, but we'll make it work. It's about the same width as the band on your underwear. And then a pair of scissors to cut it apart with, a pencil. You will also need some paper scissors and some pattern paper and the fabric that you're gonna sew it in, the new fabric, you know. So, and after that you're gonna need a sewing machine with a zigzag stitch. It'd be better to use cover stitch, but I don't have that right now, so you know, this is good for you if you don't have that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at our waist, and we're going to take this, and I pull my pants down just a little bit, that way you can see where you usually wear your underwear. And we're going to put this around like this. Going to overlap just a little bit, probably about a good inch. And this is comfortable. We need it to be slightly tight though. So we're going to do it about here. Ouch. So that should be tight enough. It should still be kind of comfortable. Let me release it just a little bit. Well, it shouldn't slide or anything. Okay? You're going to take that and use your finger as a measurement tool. This is about an inch. Take that and put it here, and we need it to overlap an inch. So after that happens, I'm going to snip it. Okay, next I'm going to start cutting this apart. So, I'm going to start with the waistband. Then I'm going to cut the other pieces apart on the underwear. Okay, and we're only going to use one side, since this piece and this piece is going to be exactly the same. Well, okay, and I cut one leg off. Now I'm going to put a little notch in the front edge, or the front side. That way I know that this is the front side and not the back, because they look like they're pretty identical. That's my back. So now you should have three pieces that we're using. You should have the side panel that wraps from the front to the back, and then you should have a back panel and then a front panel. And your front panel should actually be two pieces, and we'll work on that on the pattern. So you see this old war-torn ironing board that I got here. I am now taking my pattern paper and ironing it out. Okay, so now I'm through ironing my paper. I have my three pieces spread out here, and with this piece, what we're going to do, so we can get the shape of just one piece, we're going to cut this out. And I'm going to cut not on the little binding area. Okay. There's that. Then what I'm going to do next, I took my other pieces off. That way I can save table room. I'm going to cut off little sections of paper like that for each piece. That piece. This piece, and these are my paper scissors. This piece. And this piece. Now I'm going to trace around each piece just like it is. I'll clean it up later. don't forget to mark your little notch right there. We're going to label these. Center front panel. Center back panel. Side panel. This is front. This is back. Now we need to make these pieces look a little better. So to start that process, we are going to make our grain line first, and then we're going to kind of straighten the edges a little bit. So to find our grain line, we're going to find the center of these pieces. Okay, and then the top is a little over 7 1/4, and we're just going to round to the nearest quarter on these. Let's see, so that would be 7 1/4. Half of that would be 3 1/2, and then half of the quarter would be 1/8. So 3 1/2, and then go over an 1/8, so 3 5/8. Then we're going to connect that. And that's going to give us our center grain line. Put little arrows at the top and the bottom. Then what we're going to assume here is that this has stretched some. We know this side is all crazy looking because it's stretched, and this side may have even stretched. We're not going to worry about this so much. But we know this upper edge has stretched because it's attached to the elastic. So we're going to take this, and we're really going to square out and make everything straight lines. Okay, so now I have a straight edge here. Okay, now I've just done the top. And you can kind of see, since we have our straight edge now, how much it's stretched over time. Because this is an old pair of underwear. We have to remember that. Then, gotta make sure we mark this really good. Mark this edge there. It should be 3 1/8, right, or 5/8, and then 7 1/4. Then we're going to draw a line straight down. And then, just because I'm not absolutely sure how this pattern looked at first, and Hanes is a pretty good brand, so I can't see them having a plain pattern like that, I'm going to take a curved ruler. I'm going to curve it. Take this here. Okay, now you can see where I drew that line, and then you can kind of say, okay, maybe this is from stretch and this is shifted, okay? So what we're going to do to make sure that this is exactly the same on both sides, we are going to fold this here, and we are getting ready to cut on this line, and that's going to give us the same line on both sides. Since it's a curve, it's a little harder to match. And then also, because this has stretched, we're not going to add seam allowances. We're just going to go with what we have here. Okay? So grab your scissors and cut this whole piece out. Okay, so I've cut that. This is what it looks like now. And you see we already have our little thing there. So we're pretty much finished with this front piece. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay. So there's that. And we need to write our name. So we'll put Chris White, and let's see what this is. This is center front panel boxer briefs, and then this is size, let's say small, even though I think it's more like a medium. But this is size small, and we need to cut 2 pieces. Okay, so we're gonna write that like that. Now, before we're completely finished with this side, I'm a big technical person, and I like to make sure things are gonna fit before I get there and then have to redo it 5 times. So, what you want to do, a little technique that I use, is I'll come to this edge and I'll mark every 1/2 inch so that I can measure it easy. Mark, 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 and then I'll just say whatever this is, which is 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and then this will be, stop breaking. 1, 2, 3, so this is 3 3/4, this edge. And then I just went here and measured this edge is 10 1/8. And we know that this is going to measure the exact same thing because we cut it out the same way. This edge I'm not going to worry about because it's going to sew to elastic. It's not going to sew to another piece that we're making. So we don't have to worry about measuring that edge, okay? So we got 10 1/8, 3 3/4, and the other pieces that connect to this have to be the exact same measurement, okay? So now we're on the back, and we need to do the back the same way we did the front. We need to measure these pieces for our center line. On the top, we need to measure, find the middle. On the bottom, we need to measure, find the middle. And then we need to make sure this edge matches with this edge, okay? So, and then we need to draw our line straight, and then we need to curve it.